Hey y'all, I will be talking to you this morning about kind of the struggles that you may go through if you are ambitious, if you are wanting to reach big goals and you are working in corporate America. Okay, if you are wanting to pursue your goals and your dreams, but you still have desire to stay in alignment, go ahead and let's go ahead and dive in. I wanted to kind of talk about this morning because I'm working with quite a few of my clients right now, and I've been chatting with some of y'all as well online. And I'm sensing that a few people are feeling burnt out, right? And if you're not burnt out, I think that a lot of people are feeling like a stretch, right? Meaning like you really feel like you are being pulled right now, or you may feel like, man, it's just, having to pursue the path that I'm on. It's feeling a little more heavier than what I think or what I thought that it would feel. Okay. And so I want to talk about this because, I want to talk about being able to keep your goals, but also being able to make sure that you guys are in alignment. Because, I talk a lot about being in alignment. You need to be able to experience some level of fulfillment in your career. No, you can't get all your fulfillment, right? Because you definitely want to set the right expectations, but you still need to be in a place to where you're able to pursue the goals that you want, and it does not drain you. It does not allow you to give, and you realize that you're not able to really pour anything back into you. And so I know a lot of times when you are a person that you do have a whole lot of drive and you do have high expectations for yourself, I do know that that can come with almost a trap if you are not being aware of that. Because the first thing that I want to talk about is, for one, I want you to know and be clear on what are you really going after. I had a live stream last week and I talked about when you want certain goals or when you feel like you want certain things, you got to be able to be clear on what that really means for you. So if you're one you're like, I want to make more money. Cool. But what does that look like? How much more, right? What is the schedule, or even what are those core skills or even the functions that you want to be able to use to make that money, right? Because I know people right now, I've even had work with people in the past that they are being paid good, but they don't feel good because they are not allowed to operate in their expertise, right, as they want to. So it's not just about you being able to make a certain amount. It's about how do you want to feel when you make that? Like, what do you want your work day to actually look like? Right? And so I want this live stream to transform the way that you think. So you're not trying to pursue something in reality that you really don't even want, but you're not sure, right? And I want you to put yourself in a place to where you're able to operate and feel good about what you do. Because when you feel good, you will work good, right? When you feel good, you will be paid good. Because all of that is all of that links. And if you don't think it linked, right? A lot of y'all out here thinking that these people are your friend. Now, I do want to be clear on that, right? It does not mean that they have ill thoughts about you, right? But I talk about this all the time, how when you're working in corporate America, right, they were built to make corporations successful, not you. Right? So I want you guys to start thinking as we go into this new year, because I know this is time of year where everybody want to sit down and reflect and think, and which is cool, right? But I want to be sure that as you reflect and as you think, right, you are thinking about what is it that you need going into this new year. You are thinking about what are the expectations and what are the standards that you need to be setting for this year. And I want you to look back over this year alone. Now, if you want to dig deeper, you can, but at least think about this year alone and think about what are you leaving behind, right? What is it that you want to bring into 2024? What is it that you should have spoke up more on, but you didn't, right? Start thinking about what are those certain boundaries that should have been in place, but they wasn't. I want you to start thinking about that. Because if you go in to next year, doing and thinking the same thing, you will end up with the same results, right? And so the first thing that I want to talk about is I want you guys to start thinking about aligning your growth with your company goals. You need to start thinking about how does your growth align with your company goals? And this is key, right? Because if your goals or your growth does not align with their if your goals, you can't say that right. If your growth does not align with their goals, you'll find yourself hitting a glass ceiling there, right? You find yourself not in alignment with what you want and what they need. So I want you to really think about your career on the path that you are on. Does your growth goals align with their goals, right? Because I want you to start thinking as you start to accept new assignments, new tasks, all of these things happening at work, is what they are pushing on you, is it even in alignment with the way that you want to go or grow? Because if not, you're going to find yourself on this wheel, right? You're going to find yourself having to do a whole lot of work and you're not able to get the results that you want. Though they are getting their results, you're not getting the results that you want because it's not in alignment, right? And so I want all of you guys to go in to 2024 putting your success first. Putting your success first, because that is not selfish, that is strategic. And I want you guys to start to open your career, your mind beyond, right, what you see right now. And so as I talk about you being able to align, right, your goals and their goals, I want you to even think about not just climbing a ladder. No. Mm-mm. Let's see if the ladder is even on the right wall. Right? Because everybody is in this race to, like, let's get to the top. Let's go to that next level. Let's do all the things, right? But let's check to see if the ladder is even against the right wall, right? Let's see if where you are now and where you desire to be, right? Let's see, are you even on the right path? Because that's the thing. You may not always know every step at this time, right? You may not know, okay, I may not know exactly what step D is, even though I'm on step B, but I know that there should be a step D, but I'm not quite sure right now, right? But when you're on the right path, you know that if I keep going this way, right, you understand that I will eventually get to what it is that I want, because you at least know that you are on the right path. When you're not on the right path, when you ain't even in the right direction, that leaves you open, right, to you starting to feel stuck, to you not being sure. And when you're not sure, you cannot be strategic. And when you're not being strategic, chances are that you are not clear, right? So I want you to start thinking about, okay, am I even on the right path? Because the path that you're on now could have possibly once been the right path, but I want you to start thinking about, am I even going in the right way? I said last week on my live stream, I said, if you don't set your goals, somebody else will set them for you, right? And so when you start to think about, like, where you are and where is it that you even desire to be, or when was the last time you even thought about where is it that you really want to be, and want you to start thinking about, right, what is it that I want, right? And in that, don't be afraid to go deep, right? I always, all my clients, I tell them, don't be afraid to go deep, and don't be afraid to dream big. A lot of y'all out here playing it small. I had a client that I just worked with, right? Worked with her for 6 weeks. After those 6 weeks, she went and landed a position being paid $50,000 more, doing the same thing. Doing the same thing. When was the last time you went out and looked what is currently being paid for your role? Not what you started at, like 2, 3, 5, 7, 10 years ago. No, what is currently being paid for the role that you do now? When was the last time you went out and just shopped prices? Right? When was the last time? Because you guys know the price can change. But when's the last time you went out and shopped your price? This is something that you need to be doing, especially as the job space is changing, things are changing. You need to know, okay, is today's price yesterday's price? You need to be able to see, is the math mathy, right? Has something changed? First thing you need to do is be able to see just based upon market. Don't even add in your accomplishments, your successes, how you have exceeded goals. Don't even add that in yet. Not yet. Okay. But just based upon market value, has the rate changed for you? When was the last time you went out and looked at that? Now, when was the last time you have looked at what they have hired you for and how much you are being paid for now? Right? When's the last time you have looked at that and seen, okay, how big is the gap here? And I want to say this, there is a big difference between, I say this all the time, a pay adjustment and a pay raise. Big difference. You guys know I worked in HR for over 10 years. Y'all, I didn't hire for so many jobs. I didn't see all of this. Big difference between a pay adjustment and a pay raise. A pay adjustment means I wasn't paid right in the first place. That means I started this position and child, this role was way more than what you guys said that it was going to be. That's a pay adjustment. Pay raise is I have exceeded expectations here, right? So think about where you are. Should you be asking for a pay adjustment or a pay raise? Right? Again, it's not all about you just wanting to be so driven, right? That you're not looking at these things, right? That you're not able to sit back and think about, okay, how should I be thinking in this season? Like, what should I be expecting in this season? Because when you do that, it keeps you on track, right? So the next point that I want to really talk about with you guys is this. I want you to start thinking about, like, how is it that you need to like redefine your value? And when I say that, I want you guys to think about in your career right now, in your role, like what is it that you bring to the table? And I do want to say this is that when I'm talking about value, I'm not just talking about like what are your skills, right? What I want to really talk about is how are you showing up at work? Like what is it that you are bringing to work? Right? Like what is it that you are bringing to work with you? Because when you talk about value, when you even talk about you desire to stand out more at work, people always think about what more is it that you can do with your skills or what more task, right? Like people are always thinking of ways to be more valuable at work, but you're not understanding that just your vibe alone can add value. Just the fact that when you show up at work, right, you are able to change the environment that you are in. That's value. Because at the end of the day, when you think about wanting to advance, even when you're going through the job search and you're having to talk to all these people, right? How you make them feel will give more of an impact than what you can do. Now, I'm not talking about you showing up to work and having to like, hang out with these people all day and y'all best friends. And I'm not talking about that. Absolutely not. Right? What I am talking about is that when you show up to work, can they even tell that you have a true expertise? Right? Can they tell that you demand respect wherever you go? Right? Like, are they able to really see these things? Right? And I know a lot of times, when you are working in certain environments, that's not the easiest thing to do. So I will not gaslight you and have you feel like, that all environments are the same and that, no. because I know that there are some environments that can definitely suck things out of you, right? To where you get to the point you're like, I don't have anything else left to give, right? So at that moment, I definitely think that it is time for you to make a choice if you're going to let the environment that you're in have you change in a way that's not going to serve you or your goals. And by that, I mean, you have people where they will, their environment does not give anything towards their growth, their ideas. It doesn't do anything for them, right? And so they go into this mode of to where they feeling like they just need to survive that shift, survive the day, survive the week. And then when you look up, you realize that you have been in survival mode for years. And when you're operating in survival mode, it is hard to be creative with your ideas. It is hard to take your expertise to the next level. It is hard to even think about what's next for you because you're like, child, I can't even think about what's going to happen in the next few hours, let alone what's going to happen in the next, year, right? And so what you don't realize is that there's nothing wrong with you. Like you don't lack anything. It's just that you're in the wrong environment. And so when you start to make that shift to where you like, it is of a necessity that I put myself in a place that is in alignment with my values and that's going to allow me to grow and to thrive in my expertise. It is not an option. It is a necessity that I find workspaces that I can thrive in. Now you put yourself in a position to where, again, you feel good, so you work good. You feel well, so you lead well. And when you do those things well, that is when that pay gets well. And all of these things are linked, right? But we have made things in our career as it's some kind of a perk, right? As it's that would be nice. No, that's not a thing that you may or you should or should not have. That is a necessity to your career growth, right? That you work in a space that's going to allow you to grow and to ask any questions or give feedback without you feeling like I don't want to step over certain lines. Now, again, we know that there are do's and don'ts of the workplace. When you think about the do's and the don'ts in your mind, think about who set those standards there, right? And so when you're you're thinking about what's next for you, don't just think about, right? What's the next job title? No, what's the next place that I need to be in that I can invest my skills and my time, right? And I can get a good I can find myself in a place to where I can get back not only what I gave, but even more, because that's how your career should be working for you. Your expertise, your skills is solving problems for them. Your expertise and your skill is making money for them, right? So it should not be this place as to where I'm just going to go and just kind of see how things happen and fall. Like I'll just keep on, I'm here every day. Let's just see how the ball drops. They don't operate their company like that, right? Most companies, I say most, because there probably are some that are a little janky. And if they are, you don't want to work there anyway. But most companies have a plan. Most companies have a strategy, right? Most of them understand that they want this result. So in order to get this result, it's going to take this and it's going to take that. You need to be that way about your career and understanding this is the result. I'm not just showing up every day to make y'all successful. I'm showing up because this is the result that I want. And I know that in order to get this result, I got to do this and I got to do this. This is how you should be in your career. Right. And so, I had a poll that I did this morning on LinkedIn. And one of the things I asked, okay, like, what is your main focus for next year? And I had a lot of people, they chose the option of, it was strategic career planning, meaning that they really wanted to be able to get a plan, not just a plan, a strategic plan. Because that's the thing, you may not realize it, but you got a plan, friend. You have a plan. You might be like, how? I don't have no plan. Yeah, you have a plan. You have a plan, right? right? But it's like you got to think about like how strategic is your plan. You have to think about who wrote your plan, who decided on your plan. Chances are, if you're not thinking about your career and what's next and what needs to be done in order to like bring you into more alignment, if you're not thinking about, chances are who you work for, they have made your plan. I've told you who and what, where and why, and what you need to be focused on. They have made that plan for you, right? But I want to go back to what I was just saying, and I was talking about, you know, you being able to think about like how is it that you are, how is it that you show up at work? Because it's really important. And how you show up at work is not just about them, it's about you. How you show up at work is not just about them, it is about you. It's about what is the mood, the vibe, the whatever you want to call it, the spirit, whatever you want to call it. What is it that you are training yourself to operate in the majority of the day? Because that's what it is. Because you spend the majority of your day at work. So what mindset are you training yourself to be in long periods of time at work? And this is what happens when you are at work and you feel like, you know, sometimes you got to shut down and sometimes I don't want to talk to nobody. You just start feeling all these things, right? Or you feel like you start feeling like you have to like shrink yourself in order to be in certain rooms, or you start feeling like you have to hold back because if I don't, they're gonna think that I'm too much. Like, what is that sphere that you live in the majority of the day? And I think this is a lot of times what will make a lot of people either confused or not aware, because it's not always about you hating your job. I have clients that I work with, they don't hate their job, right? They don't have a lot of bad experiences at work. But what the job is doing to them, it limits their potential. It really depends on like where, it depends on how you were raised or even what you were like raised around, what you think is good now, right? So give you an example because you know I like my examples. So, for instance, if you were one, say you like had a lot of bad relationships in the past where like you were getting like beat on, like all this stuff, like it was like really, really bad. Like this man, like these past men were doing you horrible, right? And let's say that you find somebody and he chill, he cool, right? Don't do a lot of drama. He's at home. He is faithful, okay? Faithful. But he don't spend no time with you. Don't halfway talk to you. Don't ask you about what are the things that you want. He don't even want to be around you, but he's there. That woman will start feeling like, man, I got it good. You're like, I'm good, because you compare good based on all the other junk that you had to deal with. So you'll say, man, I got it good. I mean, he's good. I'm not getting hit on. He's not out here in these streets. I'm good. But are you really? And this is what happens for some people, that you may have experienced like really bad jobs, like child, the environment was toxic, okay? Drama every time you come to work, it was something. But then you get into this next role, and it's everybody on the team is cool. You guys don't really get along, right? Meaning you guys really don't engage, but it's quiet. You do your job, I'm gonna do my job. Every man is to himself. You good, right? So you say, you like, I have a boss. I really don't have a whole lot of issues. Sometimes she do kind of say stuff sideways out of her mouth, but I could deal with that. You say, but we still have had really good conversations. You know how I go. So you're like, I'm good. But what's happening is that position is not allowing you to grow any new skills. right? They're keeping you stuck in the same pay range, right? But to you, you're thinking, I'm okay. I mean, I would like to make more money, but I'm okay because what you have experienced in the past is worse. So this feels good. That's not how you measure career success. You do not measure your career success based upon what happened, right, in your past job. You have to be able to look at, okay, am I moving closer to what I want? That's how you measure if you're on the right track. That's how you are able to see if, right, if you're in alignment right now. Not on this job ain't as bad as the last job. That ain't got nothing to do with nothing. And then this is like the same mindset that I would see people when they are wanting to look for a new role, that they would judge their value on what they were paid at their last job. You can't even judge that because you wasn't even being paid right there. Like, they also lowballed you. So why would you put the expectation on the standard based upon what you are being paid now or what you were being paid in your last job? The pay needs to be set upon what is the value that you bring, not based upon what somebody else chose to pay you. But there is a thing called market value. I will not say go and choose a number out of the air. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that you cannot judge what you are worth based upon what you are currently being paid. I just gave you guys the example that I worked with a client, right? She went and got another position doing the same thing, same job title, being paid 50 grand more, right? And so you got to be able to understand and know, right, that when you think about where you are now and where you want to be and what your standards are and what the expectations you have in your career, it has nothing to do with how you are being treated now. So, like I was saying, like, you can get to a point to where you can almost be a little deceived a little bit, or not aware of, I don't want to say how bad of a place you're in. I don't want to say that. I don't want to be dramatic, but for some people it could be, right? But you don't understand how you're not where you need to be, and you're not where you should be because things are quiet, right? Because you may even enjoy the people that you work with, but you're not operating in your full potential. You're not able to use your expertise in the way that you desire to, and you're not able to make the impact that you really really want to with your skill set. Even though the environment is quiet, is chill, is everybody's cool, right? But does it allow you to thrive? That's all I'm saying. Now, some people don't want to do all that. You're like, Alicia, I don't want to do all that. Cool. That's fine. No judgment. But for the people that lock in with me, you do. You do desire to operate at your full potential, not at the price of being burnt out though. But it's just because you really do want to operate at a level in your expertise, right? And bring forth those goals and serve in a way that is going to feel good and that aligns with your mission, that aligns with your vision. The people that are really drawn in by me, you have a mission. And a lot of times you may not even know that you have one, but you know, like, man, these the jobs I've been in, and this ain't it, right? You be like the the roles that I'm operating in, they're okay, but it's just not hitting the spot like it needs to. Because a lot of times you have a mission or a vision or a way that you want to operate in your expertise or a actual impact that you want to make, but you're just not hitting it. And because you have not yet been able to put your mission and your vision or the impact that you want to make into words, you're like, man, just something it just ain't right. Right? I just don't feel like this is it. It's good, but this ain't it. I had a client I was talking to, and like, this is exactly what me and her were saying, right? Because I was helping her to get clear on, like, what is the vision that you have, And for some people, this exercise is so hard for them. Right. And this is why a lot of times with my clients, I have to bring them through frameworks. There are some frameworks I say, okay, this framework is X, Y, and Z, but there are some people that I just talk through that framework with them. But the other person doesn't know the framework, right? Meaning it's steps that I bring you towards to help you to get a certain result. So I was helping her through this, right? And it was such a struggle. And for a lot of people, this is a struggle to even think about the vision or the impact that you want to make with your skills, because a lot of people have just been taught, girl, you better go to work and do your job because you got bills to pay, right? Meaning like the vision and the mission was pay your bills, right? And have a few left over for a trip or a house, right? But you never really thought about like, man, what is really the vision that I have, right? So I was helping her to really deep dive into this. And in that conversation, I was helping her to get clear on her strengths, right? Which if you don't get clear on nothing else, get clear on your strengths. Get clear on your strengths, please. Because that's the number one thing that's going to make you enjoy what you do. A lot of you don't enjoy your role, or you don't really feel that fulfilled in your role because you don't operate in your strengths. That role and the functions of the role have you operating in your weak areas. And so even though you keep doing a lot of the work, you don't feel like you can ever do enough, or you feel like everybody else in the room know more than you. And that's just because you're not operating in your strengths. You have to be able to know what your strengths are and what your core skills are. And once you can marry your strengths and your core skills, that's where the growth is. That's where your money is. That's where the impact is when you marry your core skills and your strengths, right? And so I was helping her to like dig through all of this, right? So after we were done with everything, she was just sitting there like, girl, like, she said, I didn't even know all of this. And the crazy thing was, all of that was already in her. I didn't tell her, oh, girl, I wasn't throwing stuff at her. I was just simply asking her the right questions. Because I do believe that when you hire a coach, I think a coach does two things for you, right? We do show you opportunities, ways, paths that you may not have been aware of, right? As far as helping you with like strategies and things of that sort. But another side of when you can hire a good coach is when they can ask you the right questions. Because you ask yourself questions all day, but you're not asking yourself the right questions. One of the things all my clients say, like, Alicia, you ask the best questions, because I know what you need to ask yourself in order to unlock what's already there. So a lot of my clients, like, you being clear, it's already there. It's just that you haven't asked yourself the right questions. For example, you'd be like, why are these people at work getting on my note? Like, why are these people at work always getting on my nerves? That's not the right question. Right. First question you need to ask yourself is, why are you so bothered by it? Right? Why are the actions of other people, of other grown people that you have no control over, getting you so bothered and allowing you to get out of character? That's the question you need to ask yourself. Why? Because you understand that I am in corporate America. I am on a job with different personalities. There will always be one or two personalities in the workplace that you just don't really prefer. I'll say that. There's always that quick one or two personalities you'd be like, child, we probably wouldn't really be close if we didn't work here, right? So the question to ask yourself is why is it that I'm letting people that's grown affect me so much? And then when you can get clear on that, now you can start to really dig into deep. It's like, what's happening here with me? Why is it that I lack self-control? Now, I'm not saying that certain environments do not, or they cannot cause certain emotions to come forth. That's not what I'm saying, because we are human. We do experience emotions. What I'm saying is that you get to the point to where these people are like stressing you out, you having bad headaches at work. Like, let's get clear on that, right? Like, let's get clear on why are you triggered by so many different things. It could be, again, that you have not been able to identify, like, what is the work environment? What are my core values? What is it that I need to have in place? Right? It could be that. Or it could be that there is a level of control that you won't get, a level of control that you want over everything, that you desire to control every environment that you go into. And that can be in your relationships, in your marriage. Okay, I'm gonna stop because I'm not trying to get in y'all business. But like why is it that you have to feel that level of control? And sometimes you could want that level of control because when you have control, you feel safe. You feel like, if I can control the environment, that means that I can stop certain things from happening. Right? And so when you feel like you gotta have the control, when you gotta have the control, if anything steps outside of your little boundary line, child, you is a mess. You frustrated, you upset, you shutting down, you are going off. I ain't got time for y'all because you can't control everybody else. Baby, these people are grown. They grown people. They just grown. They didn't hire you to babysit the team. They just didn't. They didn't hire you to babysit people. And you should not want to babysit anybody. You should want to be showing up in your expertise, being paid for the job that they paid you for, and being able to move into a level of mastery in your career. You should even have time for all of that. And if there are times when maybe things arise that do cross certain boundaries, being able to be mature enough to have conversations about it. Right? Being in a place to where I didn't like what you did, but I'm not going to let it take me out of character, but I will have a conversation about it and being done with it. And if it's something that has that has gone too far and it has been addressed, now it's still not about you controlling anybody, right? It is not about you controlling anybody. It is about you being able to sit down, decide, and pray. Is it time for me to go, or is it time for me to grow? Which one is it? Because it's always going to be one or the other. My friends, it's either going to be time for you to go or it's time for you to grow. There was times when, look, I would be at work and I'd be like, I didn't had about all I can take. And I pray, and God was like, sit yourself right there. He said, once these people stop bothering you so much, then I'm going to bless you. Because reality is, y'all, people is everywhere. People is, y'all, in your house. They everywhere. So you have to get to a point to where you can deal with people and it don't affect you the way that it does. That if you do have to leave a job because you're like, you know what? This environment is not good for me. Meaning you understand that this is not a case of where there are growth gaps in me. You're like, this is a case as to where this environment is not going to get me to the level that I want to be at. And then when you leave, and I say this all the time, then when you leave better, not bitter. You leave better, not bitter. Because I don't know how y'all thinking that y'all could just leave a job all in the wrong spirit. You frustrated. You can't halfway go through a job interview without talking about your last job. And you think that you're about to come into that new position and show up as you should. Friend, you got baggage. There's too much baggage. You be coming into that job overly cautious. The first day, if anybody say anything that's a little wrong, you like, see y'all just like the last. Wait a minute. Golly. Give the people a chance. Give the people a chance. But that's what happens when you be leaving these jobs bitter and you start treating these new jobs like Band-Aids. Baby, I've had to remove myself and say, you know what? It's time to go. I ain't got no hard feelings with y'all. I don't even believe in it's a statement that people always say. What they say, like, let your success be that. hold on. Let your revenge. No. Let your success be your revenge. That's it. Let your success be your revenge. Baby, ain't a revenge bone in me. When I'm pursuing my goals and I'm getting what I want to get out of life, baby, I ain't thinking about you. Like, how miserable is that you still revolving your success, or you are being successful to go and improve them wrong? Baby, ain't nobody gonna ever take up that much capacity in my mind and in my life. I know I'm not the only one. Ain't nobody gonna take up all of this energy in me to where I'm still like I'm successful and I'm still thinking about you. Child, that's exhausting. Because I'm just like, what you mean? I've heard people say choke on my success. Come on now, you too old for that. You too old. You too old for that. Choke on your success. What in the world? Mm-mm. Y'all, you know what? I'm all about integrity. I'm about integrity and maturity. This day, like when, friends and I are out hanging out and like with us, like friends that they love playing spades, stuff like that. Sometimes I have to be careful. I'm like, nope, I don't want to play, because I'm very competitive too. So I'm like, if we playing spades and you get on my team, come serious. Don't come with that. Oops, I didn't see. Oh, I already threw out that book. No. Like, the time one husband to tell me, like, Alicia, calm down. So a lot of times when it comes to like that, I really just don't really engage. I'm like, no, I'm gonna just sit back and chill, because I'm serious. I'm like, do not get on my team laughing and playing. No, it's time to win. Okay, if you're not serious about winning, don't get on my team. But that's just me, like, right? So I am competitive too. I have to watch that. And what I have to watch is, why is it that I'm so competitive? Like, what does that mean for me? And if I don't win, what do I think that says about me? That's what I had to work. And I'm still working on that in certain areas, right? Like, if I don't get a result that I thought that I should have gotten, like, what belief or what thought or what am I saying to myself that means? And a lot of times that is what will make you really competitive, is when you have made the loss more than what it should be. Meaning that if you lose, or again, you don't get a result that you think that you should, like, what do you think that it says about you? That's like the downside sometimes of it. But I do think it's good to have some of it in you, right? But I do think with that, or with myself, I definitely had to get to a place where I'm like, if I don't win, what do I think that says about me? Or, you guys all talk about this all the time. Like, Alicia, why are you in this proving vibe? Like, what are you trying to prove? And this is something that it took a lot of work. I had to get out of that proving, because it's impossible to prove and build at the same time, right? You ain't got nothing to prove in your career. But you be like, Alicia, these people hire me. I have to show up and prove to them that I can do the job. First of all, they hired you because they believe that you could do the job. First of all, right? I was an HR y'all for years. I've hired for thousands of positions. I've never in my life hired somebody and did not think they could do the work. I hired you because I believe that you could do this job. And not just do the job, you could do the job well, because you guys know, especially now, when you are looking for a job online, child, sometimes it'll be 900 people that have applied. So from those 900 people, they probably called about 10, right? After speaking with about 10, they probably get down to the last 2. Why? Because they be looking for the best person. They're looking for the best person. Now, granted, what that best could mean, it's different upon who's hiring and the actual standards, because the best person don't always mean the one with the most experience. It does not mean that, right? It just depends, like, what are the core needs for that position. So, but they, at the end of the day, they extended the offer to the person that they believed was the best fit for the role. I don't care what nobody say. All of these fake posts on LinkedIn saying that they hired somebody who just walked through the door, and they hired the person because it was something in them that felt like, even if you don't have the experience, I still think that you're the best person for this job, right? So it's not about you proving to them that you can do the job. Show up and do the job. Show up in your expertise. It's not about you. I got to prove to you, because what happens is when you start proving, you start letting go of your boundaries. You start not thinking about your vision of your career, and you're not thinking about your goals in your career. That's not at the forefront. The forefront is, I got to prove to you that I deserve this job. No, validate that before you even show up on the first day, that they picked you out of 900 people, that you went through the interview process. And child, sometimes the interview process be like 7 steps, but you got through. They picked you. So them extending that job offer is the validation that you needed. Don't show up to work looking for that every day. Because when you show up to work every single day trying to prove yourself, you're starting over every day from scratch. But what you need to be doing is showing up, right? Being able to go in your role, see the gaps, right? Get creative, think about ideas, think about ways to add value, not to prove yourself, but for one, to sharpen your skills, right? To grow, to put yourself in a place to where you can make more money. That's what you need to be doing, not proving. And you can't prove and build at the same time. So that just takes like a mindset shift in yourself to where you're like, girl, what am I here for? And this happens from like, I work with clients. The majority of my clients are either in some kind of like management lead role, or they are on their way there, right? I work with people that are in some kind of like leadership position already, or they desire to move into that. And when I say leadership, it's not just managing a team, because it's so much more than that, right? So those are the people that I work with, right? And so you have an expertise, a skill there. But now it's just about, okay, like, what is it that you need to be leaning more towards? And like, what are the actions that, and the steps that you need to take to make sure that you are on your way there? But one of the things that will stop you is thinking that you got to prove yourself every time. And I know that goes against all this, career advice y'all hear. Oh, just show up to work and make sure that you make yourself irreplaceable. That's why you can't get promoted, because all they can see you for is that position. They can't see you outside of that position, because you have buried yourself in your job role. You haven't had any conversations outside of the work that you do. You don't look to learn about anything outside of the role that you do. You have not expressed that you desire to do anything outside of the role that you do. And then you ask for a promotion, you get shocked that they don't think that is a good fit for you, because they don't see you for anything else. Because you were so head down trying to prove that you were the best fit for the role. Your focus was only on that role, and you didn't look at their overall success and start to look and see, okay, what other parts of this success do I want to be in, and start to like get a strategy and a plan to get there. Now all they can see you for is that role. That's why I believe in this. This is my belief. You ain't got to agree with me, okay? You ain't got to agree with me. I think people do themselves a disservice when they stay in positions 2, 3, 4, 5 years and don't ask to be moved up, don't ask for a raise. Year after year, you're burying yourself in that role. I'm not saying that you can't advance. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the more you don't look at anything else, or the more you don't have conversations about anything else, you bury yourself in that position to get to the point to where they think that you're great, but just for the role that you're in. So that's why it's good to start thinking when you show up at work, hey, I like the role is cool. And if you like the space that you're in, start looking within there and see, okay, like what else is a good fit for me here. Like don't get comfortable. Don't get comfortable. Because again, it's not to have you in a mindset to where you're always thinking about what's next. It's about putting yourself in a place for success, putting yourself in a place for more money. No, it's not everything ain't about money. When you look around, things are getting more and more expensive. I remember when gas was like 89 cents. Gas ain't never been 89 cents again in life. And this was because I'll be 38 in June. So like this was exactly like this was when I was in like high school. And I remember when I started driving, gas was like $1.05. Like me and my friends could literally drive for hours and be good. Like, do you remember when you had to like have your friends and you're like, all right, y'all, give me gas money, and they threw you a five and you was good. You're like, oh girl, cool. Now let you get in anybody car and throw them $5. They're gonna be like, where are we going, around the corner? Gas has never ever went down. And I say this to say, when you look around, stuff is okay. You can get almost a full tank with $5. Now, girl, $5 ain't moving the little gas line at all. At all. And I say this because everything is getting more expensive. And we know that when stuff get expensive, it don't go back down. So no. Having a career isn't all about money, but y'all, you need it. And you may be doing good right now. But I think a lot of this is like our mindset belief too. Is like we feel like the only time we need to pursue something is when things are just in the dumps. Like let's normalize things not having to be dragged into the pits of hell before we decide to pursue something. Like let's like put in your mind to where you won't let your work environments get so horrible to where you got to take a leave now for 6 months, because this job has a high amount of stress and is causing all these issues when you knew a year ago that the environment wasn't good, right? Now, again, if you decide to move, great. I think you being able to move at all is great. But how much better is it to where we don't have to wait until we lack in order to move towards more? You learn to plan instead of panic. You know what I mean? Like let's plan your career so you get to a place to where you can operate, where you have a lot of opportunities, where you have choices to choose from. And you don't have to just go and choose the very first thing that you see because you ain't got no other options. Let's operate out of learning how to plan and prepare so we can move away from panic. And this is why, y'all, I don't know how many first timers I have on here, but I have a group called The Best You, right? I will open up doors again for it next month. I'm in the process of having everything revamped. That is what The Best You is for. It's a place of getting prepared. So if you are ready to advance, if you are ready to, or let me say this, if you have a desire to advance, if you have an actual desire to change careers, if you know in the next 2 years that you do want to be in C-suite, if you know in the next year that you want X, Y, and Z goal, baby, let's start preparing right now. Let's prepare. Let's build your skills up now. Like let's build up your brand now so you can learn how to operate out of an abundance of opportunity, and you're not just always scratching at the barrel, just having to accept any old thing, but you put yourself in a position to where when you sat down and plan, you didn't plan out of desperation, but you planned out of intention. And when you do that, you get opportunities that you always want. You get opportunities that's aligned. because you were intentional, not desperate. I tell y'all, if you are sensitive, hit that little X. Bye. And it's no hard feelings. I love you still. But if you want a friend, a coach who's going to tell you the truth, who has to tell you things that you may not want to hear, but you need to hear, it's me. That's out of love. It's only because I want the best for you. That's all. I want the best for you. Those of you who look like me, we got to be more intentional than anybody. And I work with clients, white, black, Hispanic, male, female. I work with all kinds of clients. Youngish. It's like I said, a lot of my clients, they kind of already have some experience, right? Some of older age, across the board. But when I'm talking to my clients that look like me, I can't give you all of the same career advice and strategies. I can give you a lot of the same strategies that I give for the clients that don't look like me, right? And it's not saying that I give this person more and you less. No, right? But what it is about is that we cannot act like that there's not a corporate system at play. We just can't act like that, right? We can't. Now, for the most part, there is like an overall concept or structure, but we do have to do things differently. We should be more intentional about who we work for than anybody else. Like I would see people spend more time on Netflix looking for a movie or a show to watch than you spend researching this employer that you want to work for. Like, how is that? That you'll spend more time, online on Sheen, and you gonna spend researching this employer that you gotta spend 8 to 10 hours a day with. How? How? Tell me how. I'm laughing, but I'm serious. I'm just like, what? You about to go get this job? Hours of your life, 40, 50 hours a week. This job is getting ready to take you away from your family and your friends and yourself and the things that you like to do. And you about to go up here and tell me that you ain't got time to research them, or you don't have time to have conversations with people who used to work there. What you mean you don't have time? But you got time to spend 45 minutes trying to find a show that you can binge on Hulu and Netflix? I told you, if you're sensitive. What did I tell you? Hit the X button. But I'm serious. Like we would spend more time trying to find a rug online than we think about. I need to know who I'm working for. I need to know. That's too much work. Too much work, child. Look, I would see people spend more time in the drive-through making sure they fries hot. We'll hold up the whole drive-through line. Hold up the drive-through line. Because your fries cold, which is cool. Ask for your fresh fries. I think that's a great thing. I talk about that all the time. But you will expect more from the fast food place than you do from your company. Child, you have no problem holding up the line to make sure that your sandwich is fixed just right. And I know this is tough love, but you gotta hear. You'll spend more time trying to make sure that they use the right bread than you will having the right conversations at work that's going to affect your livelihood. That will affect how you treat your family. Because when you're in an environment that you are stressed out, you come home stressed out. And a lot of times you take that stress out on your family. right? A lot of times you would take that stress out on your family. So we'll spend all this time doing all these other things, but the stuff that matters, we don't have time for. Oh, I also want to share with you guys a free tool that you can go and get. Everybody should be able to go in my link in bio. It's called the Dream Life Calculator. Okay. It's called the Dream Life Calculator, and it's for anybody, right? It's a free tool that shows you how much money you really need to live your dream life. And I made this free tool because I see so many people, they know that they want a certain lifestyle, but you don't put yourself in a position to get the opportunities because you really don't really know how much you really need. Like anytime I talk to somebody and I'll ask them like, how much more money do you want to make? And when I hear stuff like, oh, I want to make like extra 5 grand, I know that you don't really know what 5 grand is a year, because after taxes, 5 grand can be maybe just for some people, because we have insurance, stuff like that, but for most people it may equal up to about maybe $300 a month, right? And I know for some people that could be great, right? But at the end of the day, when you're talking about trying to like close the gap between where you are now and where you desire to be, $300 a month, that's not enough, meaning it's going to take you forever, because you have to think about it. The only opportunity that you really get to get paid a lot more is when you change jobs. After that, you may get a little 2-3% raise, if that. But when you make a move, that's like the only opportunity that you get to like increase your salary by 20, 30, 40, 50. I had a client I work with, she was able to get an extra $78,000 in her next move, right? And so when you make a move, you want to be sure that you can really maximize that so you can close that gap a lot sooner. And that's why you guys have to stop thinking about, I gotta find a job that I can stay at forever and die. Baby, you are hurting yourself. Hurting. Now, if you find a great company and you get raises that's like 10K plus a year, hey, hallelujah, girl. But for most people, that's not the case. So if you know that you want to be able to really increase the amount of money that you make, don't be afraid to make a move. Excuse me, because a lot of time that's the only time that you can do that. Which is why, lately you'll see people that's like maybe like 30 years old, young, already making over 100K a year. It's because they wasn't afraid to make a move. And stop being afraid of job hopping. Get that out your mind. It's one thing if you're hopping to job and you don't know what you want. I don't agree with that. But it's another thing when you decide to change your job because you understand what you want and you understand the goal and you understand how fast you want to get there. That's different. That's not job hopping. That's called strategic career moves. That's not job hopping. All right. And times have changed. And that advice that we got when we were like young from our parents, saying find a job and stay stable. That's not stable. You staying at a position that don't allow you to get a great raise and don't allow you the opportunity to increase your pay in a society that everything is more and more and more expensive, that's not stable, right? So I want you to be able to get to a place to where you understand that you have to be able to make a move. And so if you want that free tool, go in my link in bio, and it's there for free. And that spreadsheet, what you do is you put in all of your expenses, all of your bills, all of your fund money, all of your savings, all of everything that you want, right? And then it also has like a little area where you actually put like, I think, tax amount and all that. So you can get a really clear idea. Okay, wait a minute. In order to have this much money saved up, in order to have this much fun money, it has fun money, shopping money, everything is on there. So now you have a really clear idea of, one, how underpaid you are, right? You also have an idea of how far you are from the life that you want. And so that should be able to spark some action in you. And that should put you in a place where you are able to sit down and really evaluate, are you being paid at the rank that you should be. So that is absolutely free to you guys. Go ahead and download that. Guys would like to have a free call set up with me to work one-to-one. You can go in my link in bio on my page and have a free call scheduled there. Also, like I said, my group, the best you. I love my name of my group because it ain't just about being a good employee. It's about being the best you. So doors for that is going to be opening up for that next month. Okay, so if you want the link to just stay updated with everything I have going on, let's talk and I will shoot that link over to you. But with this group, I'm definitely excited about it because it is going to be a place to where you can come and prepare, right? And not prepare, but gain the skills also that you need, not to just thrive at work, but also thrive at life. So you got thrive in life. So you guys stay tuned, and I definitely will be excited to share more information with you. And I will talk with you guys later. Bye. Bye, y'all.